ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we are on the mantra तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् आत्मनः आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद्वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्यो अन्नम् ओषधीभ्यः अन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषः अन्नरसमयः. We saw that. And so we are towards, we saw how each thing came out of another thing. And then it's all, ultimately, we have to say it is all Brahman alone. Out of Brahman only, Brahmanaha, Sakashat, everything has come. So this is the discussion that is going on. And then so let us place ourselves and see where we are. Yeah, Sava Esha Purushaha Annarasamaya Annarasa Vikaraha. So this is what it is, Annarasa Vikara. So the word Mayat has three meanings, not the word, the suffix Mayat. You would have heard me talking about it in other contexts as well. So the suffix Mayat has three meanings, three senses. One is in the sense of the transformation, modification, called a modification that is called vikara. Vikara is a modification. So the first meaning of the suffix called mayat is modification. But modification of what? Whatever word to which the suffix has been added, that is what is being modified. Purushaha anna rasamayaha. Anna rasamayaha. So that maya is actually mayat. The ta goes away because of the Paninian rule, halantyam. And then we have maya. And then if it is a masculine noun, if you're wanting to make a masculine noun, you say mayaha or maya. If you're wanting to make a feminine noun. So that's how all the suffixes work. You just have to add the appropriate terminations. So here, mayaha, anna rasamayaha, meaning that you may eat your donuts, but the donuts don't settle down as the spare belly. Okay, donuts don't directly settle down. They are transformed into fat and then they settle down. So this is the vikara. This is what is called vikarartha. For this pratyaya called mayat, this is the first meaning is vikar. Then the second meaning is what is that called? Prachurya, preponderance. So if you go to a party, and in olden days they didn't have party. Whenever they wanted to party, what would they do? They would go and attend a homa, a yajna. That was the party. There would be friends, there would be food. What do you want? That's all it is. And then the priest would be chanting mantras, and you get the good, the good karma of attending that. Although most of the time you stayed and caught up with your friends, but still you get good karma of attending the Homa. And so, and then somebody asks you, what was the Homa like? And then you say, Annamayaha Yajnaha. I don't remember anything. I don't remember the people. Don't ask me what they wore. I don't remember people coming, people going, nothing I remember. I don't even remember the mantras the priest chanted. I don't remember the fire. I don't remember the deities which were invoked. What do I remember? The food is so yummy it was, and so many varieties of food. There was just a lot of food. So here, Annamayaha Yajnaha means the yajna was full of food. It's not Anna Vikara, because it's not the transformation of food. The food was not being transformed, it was right there. It was all right there in its form. So it is not a vikara. Here it is prachurya. There was a preponderance of food. There's always, in a lot of Indian get-togethers, this food is the only thing that is people remember. There's too much of it and a lot of it. So this is what is called prachuryarthe, the preponderance of food. Other things were also there. People were there. Yajna was there, priests were there, pots were there, deities were invoked, deities were there, fire was there, everything was there. Five elements were there. But what I remember is the food, because the food stood out, because it had a predominant place in this. So that's the second meaning of the word mayat, the suffix mayat. Then there is also one more meaning, which is called, very rarely used, swarthe mayat pratyaya. Swarthe mayat. Swarthe means in its own sense. Like, there was a Swami, Swami Chinmayananda. And then very, influential Swami. And one the Diksha Guru of Pujya Swamiji, and Swami Chinmayananda. Swami Chinmayananda. So here, Chin here is actually Chit plus Mayat, Chinmaya. Okay, Chin doesn't mean it's the Swami is named after the Chin. Okay, yeah. So here, what is the meaning? You cannot say it's a modification of Chit. Chit is the only thing that is not modifiable. Correct? Yeah, Chit cannot be modified. Chit is you. You don't undergo any modification. So the Vikarartha is cut out. Then the prachuryartha, mostly chit. If we take mostly chit, what else is there? Then the rest of it is what? Raga dveshas plus chit, chinmayananda. That also doesn't sound good. So what is the third meaning? The third meaning that is used is, what is that? Only chit. Chinmayananda. Only chit. And there is one Swami who comes to our ashram once a year. He comes, and very dynamic person. His name is Swami Jyotirmayananda. So he's all light, he's in the form of Atma, that is all light. And Chinmayananda means the form of Atma, that is only, that's all that is there is consciousness. So that's the third and rarely used, sense of Maya. And here, of course, Anna Rasamaya means the modification of the Anna, the food that you eat. Okay. So with this, so we know that here it is in the Taittiriya Upanishad, the mayat is used in the sense of vikara. Okay, vikara means modification. Okay, so now let us look at the Bhashya where we are. Number 35. If you're looking at the what's its name, the Devanagari, page 271, number 35, in the middle of that. So we saw this much, Shiraf, Pani, Adi, Akritiman. So Annat Purushaha. Annat Purushaha means from the food, the human being was born. The human being is born of food, so therefore is a modification of food. So here, Purusha, may one not think of it as Bhagavan or something like that, or the indweller of the body, mind, sense complex. So we are in fact referring to the assemblage, Karya Karana Sanghata, or meaning the assemblage of the body, mind, sense complex is what is called Purusha, that is born of food. Why not the indweller? Because the indweller is not born. Simple. If the indweller is also born, then we would not be having this conversation, because there is no moksha possible, no moksha desirable. And why? Because everything is finite. That which is born is subject to death. So, Shiraf Panyadi Akritiman. So, the one who has this Akriti, in fact, it's that Brahmatma alone that is there in the form of the one that has this Akriti, in the form of the one that has this name and that has this form. Okay. So, continuing here, you can please repeat. Savai Eshaha
सवै एषः
Purushaha
पुरुषः
Annarasamayaha
अन्नरसमयः
Annarasavikaaraha.
अन्नरसविकारः.
So, this just further to just clarify it a little bit. Sava Esha Purushaha Annarasamayaha. That is the Vakya here. Savai. The Va means Vai, because that Vai becomes Va because it's followed by a diphthong. So that's why it becomes Va. Sava Esha Purushaha. Savai Esha Purushaha. Same thing. Annarasamayaha. It's not Annamaya, Anna Rasamaya. So it is a modification of the Sara. Sara means the essence of the food. The food is first cooked in the stove. First, it's cooked by the sun. So first cooking of the food we have in the form of the sun. The sun cooks, and then after the sun cooks, what else cooks? The you cook. You put it on the fire and you cook. The sun is also fire. And then same Bhagavan in the form of the sun cooks, same Bhagavan in the form of your gas stove or electric stove or microwave cooks. Microwave is also Bhagavan, fire Bhagavan, Agni Devata. The latest iteration. And then and then after that there is a third cooking in the form of the stomach fire. Bhagavan in the form of the Jatharagni also cooks. Then what happens? The vitamins, the minerals, whatever the body needs is sent to various places, again because of prana, vyana, apana, udana, samana, and all these things, because of these pancha pranas. We saw this in detail in the Shatashloki class last week. So we saw how the vyana takes this and the prana takes that, and all these things happen, and the body is maintained. And so we saw all that. And then so here, so the Purusha is nothing but Shiraf Panyadi Akritiman, having a body, having a mind, etc. Who is what? Anna Rasa Vikaraha is the he or she is this body is a modification of food. But then, when I was born, here's a very important question you can ask. But when I was born, I didn't have any food. I came out hungry, crying. I wasn't given any sandwiches. I was not given anything. But still, I came out with this wonderful, intact body. How is this possible? How is this body a product of food when I haven't eaten? Even the baby hasn't eaten any food at all. It just came out of the mother's womb, just like that. No food. How is this possible? What does it mean? Food. What do you mean by annarasa vikara? That's a very, very good question. The answer to that is that your body is due to, is an effect, is a karya, direct karya of the food that your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents and their great grandparents ate. That's how it is. So you haven't yet eaten the food. True. You have to yet the baby has to yet come out of the mother's womb, and then nurse and suckle and then get its energy and get its start its life. But before, as soon as it comes out, it hasn't eaten any food. But yet it has bones, it has marrow, it has everything. It's a perfect little human being. It's a small version of a human being, and cries and is very animated. And it frowns at you, and then it says, I was enjoying a wonderful Menaka dance concert. Menaka is a nymph in heaven. So I was enjoying a wonderful Menaka dance concert. And then what did you do here? Why did you bring me out of it? And it frowns, it cries, it looks around. It's able to do all that without even eating a morsel. Why? Because of the food the mother ate. Mother has been eating for 1.5 people for 9 months. And it's also because of the food the father has eaten. And that is what is giving rise to the DNA. The materials that are there in the DNA, that is what is giving rise to the food that is eaten. That is exactly how it is. And so therefore, it's not that now your body is a product of food, but actually, when you start out, your body is the product of the food eaten by your mother and eaten by your father. That's why we are eternally grateful. This is, one of the rinas. Rinas means a debt you can never, ever, ever, ever overcome. Why? Because of the food that your lineage. I'm not talking of your spiritual lineage. I'm talking of your, just genealogical lineage. Because of the food that the people in your lineage ate, and because of the food consumed by the parents, and then that is what has given birth to this body. What kind of body? Human body. Human body. And why is that important? Adhikari sharira. Adhikari sharira. Adhikara means it is qualified body. What is it qualified to do? It's qualified to eat and drink, no doubt. But it is qualified to seek this knowledge. That is why it is a very special body. And so for those people from whom this body has been received, and for that one is indebted all the life. It's very, very beautiful. It's called Pitru Rinam. You know, so Pitru means Matacha, Pitacha. So both, mother and father, and then grandmother, grandfather from both sides. And then, great grandfather, great grandmother, all the multiplying sets of grandparents on both sides are venerated. That's why we take seriously Shraddha. Once a year, all of them are venerated, and Tarpanam offerings are made to them for 15 days. There, every day there is, a person's shraddha. Like, this is the day for the grandparents, this is the day for the great grandparents, this is the day somebody has, passed away in the family, untimely death, etc. So this is how, you try to pay back, you try to give back, but then you are never successful in giving back. And so at the time of taking sannyasa, you give them the final offering. You give all of them. And you say, please release me from these offerings. And in fact, through you releasing me, I will be released to release you. This is literally the mantra. This is literally the mantra. Because really, they are very happy that you are taking sannyasa because they couldn't. And somehow, for some reason, they couldn't. And so they are very happy that you are doing it. So they will happily release you. But that release is asked, and one final oblation is given, including a final oblation for your own body is given. That's why when the sannyasi departs, there is only one 16th day feast. That's all it is. 16 people are invited and given special treatment, usually sadhus, and a feast is offered. Otherwise, no other end, antyeshti, meaning some karmas, 11th day, this day, that day, nothing is there. Because one has already done one's last rites. This is not something to, this is not something to look upon lightly. This is not something to look upon lightly. That's why the sannyasi is got a new birth, and one is in the present. That's the whole idea. That's why when you meet a sannyasi, you don't ask, where are you from? Where are your parents from? What is your hometown? Like this, these are all questions that have no bearing. And that is how it should be. And so here, this, this is what, anna rasa vikaraha. So the food has come from the not just the food the parents have eaten, but from the entire body, mind, senses of the parents, the child is born. Not just from one part, not just from another part, not just reproductive material, not just DNA. In fact, the entire body of the father and the entire body of the mother, the entire mind of the father and the mind of the mother, is involved in the production and in the giving birth of this child. This is what the next sentence is going to say. So let us read that. पुरुषाकृति भावितं हि
पुरुषाकृतिभावितं हि
सर्वेभ्यः
सर्वेभ्यः
अङ्गेभ्यः
अङ्गेभ्यः
तेजः सम्भूतं
तेजस्सम्भूतं
रेतो बीजम्.
रेतो बीजम्.
Yeah. So, Purushakriti Bhavitam. Purusha Akriti Bhavitam means this Purushakriti Bhavitam means that which is going to be this Purusha Akriti, that which is going to be the form of this person. What is going to be the form? Whatever the form is. Two hands, two legs, and it looks like the father, it looks like the mother, the baby looks like the father and the mother. So all this is called bhavitam, that which is the akriti of this baby, the form of this baby, the mind of this baby, the body of this baby is what? The body, mind, sense complex of this baby is to yet to come. Correct? Because we don't know what it will look like. It's still in the womb, let us say. We don't know what it's going to look like. And so this Purusha Akriti Bhavitam means that which is encoded. Encoded. That which is encoded in this intelligence. In the intelligence, that is what is called here Tejas. In that knowledge which is encoded in the seed and the egg. There is the baby's akriti is already there in a subtle and hidden form, in a encapsulated form. Just like when you cut open the seed and you look at it, then you don't see the tree. It is there in a very, very subtle form. It is there. The information of the information of the tree is there. Everything is there. And so, but you don't see it. And then similarly, when you break open an egg, you don't see the chicken. It's forming. It's there. The information is already there. You just broke it open too soon because you wanted omelette. That's why you broke it open too soon. And so here the reto bijam means the bija, which is the egg and the seed, or the egg and the seed. These are the seed materials, just like the tree is encoded in the seed. Vrikshakriti bhavitam, so just like that. Purushakriti bhavitam cha. So the akriti, this body of this baby or the person to be is already encoded, is encoded. And where has it come from? Sarvebhyaha angebhyaha. From, not just from the egg and the seed, not just from the reproductive materials and the DNA, no, from the entire body and the entire mind of the parents. One has inherited this body. See, that wholeness is still in here, inherent. It's not parts, it's the whole. It's very, very beautiful. So then, this is what is, being talked about. Then, Sambhutam Reto Bijam. Then, further, Tasmat
तस्मात्
Yah Jayate
यः जायते
Saha Api Tatha
सः अपि तथा
Purushakritirev Syat
पुरुषाकृतिरेव स्यात्
Sarvajatishu
सर्वजातिषु
जायमानानां
जायमानानां
जनक आकृति
जनक आकृति
नियमदर्शनात्.
यमदर्श नि- नियमदर्शनात्.
So, tasmat, because of this reason, what reason? That because of the fact that the entire body mind sense complex of the parents is transferred to the child, not just the contribution of the parents. You can say, okay, the reproductive materials in the form of egg, seed, etc., but it's not just the egg and seed, because the egg and the seed have in them the whole information of the body of the parents and the mind of the parents encoded in them, which is going to be the future child. Very, very interesting. So this is not really a biology lesson or a zoology lesson. It's nothing to do with science. It's the commitment here of the Shruti is not to try to infer something scientific and then say, and then that's why the people will have a conference. They will have a conference. Veda is scientific. Veda is not scientific. Veda has nothing to do with science. Science is based on inference, deductions, and then arthapatti, multiple step inference. Whereas the Shastra is a means of knowledge on its own. What science can do, Shastra cannot do and need not do. Shastra need not do what replicate what is science is already doing. So the commitment here is to the wholeness. And so that Brahmatma, that is what we are talking about. That's which Brahmatma? The same one that was told, knowing this, you will be whole. Knowing this, all your desires will be fulfilled. Knowing this, all your fears will go away. Knowing this, all your sorrow will go away. That Brahman, which manifested in the form of the five elements, and which is still Brahmatma, out of which the body has come, the mind has come. And how has it come? Because you have inherited your body entirely from your parents, your grandparents, etc. That's why the child starts to look like its parents, even though at age 8 it is convinced that it is adopted, because it doesn't get along. So even though it is convinced it is adopted, it is still looks like the parents, and that is what is being pointed out. Bhashyakara is very ingenious, just wonderful bhashya here. And this is what he says, tasmat, therefore, yah jayate, the one who is born, saha api, that person also, Purushakritihi eva syat, also in the form of a human being. Why has this needing to be said? Because in the Puranas and in certain other, what are they called? Ancient fairy tales, Panchatantra, etc. Ancient fairy tales, we have some stories. I remember one in particular that was related to me when I was a child, and that one entailed, a queen who gave birth to five puppies. Okay, so the queen had multiple puppies, and she was shocked. She said, "Oh my God! But there's more than one, more than they're keeping on coming. And she stopped at 5. And then, the nursemaid who was there, what is that called? The doula, the midwife. That's what I was. So the midwife gave orders for the puppies to all be put in a sack and to be drowned in the river, because the king cannot know that the heir to the throne is a puppy. This would be terrible for the kingdom. It would be just, and the people, they would be horrified. But the queen was very attached to the puppies. So she just said, okay, we'll not tell anybody, but we'll keep them as pets. But they will just grow up in the palace. And if the king asks, just say somebody gifted the queen with some puppies. And so like that. So, but, this story is kind of, what's that, a figment of somebody's imagination, some ancient writer's imagination. So, because that's all there is, because you don't see a person giving birth to puppies. Not possible. Oh, but maybe in the future, genetic engineering, that's different. But right now, you don't see that. You don't see that. Why? Because you inherit from the parents this body. And so this is how the body is inherited. And then, the body is, this is how it is inherited. And tasmad yah jayate saha api purusha akritihi eva syat. Purusha akriti eva syat. Whatever you see, whenever the baby is born, it is the what is that? Purusha akriti. Why? Because the body and the body mind sense complex of the child is inherited totally from the parents. The totality here is what is being talked about, because it's all Brahman ultimately. And we have to say that Brahmatma in the form of the parents have given birth to Brahmatma in the form of the child, which has got an akriti, a form just like themselves. So it's, even though it's, then what is that, so then further he says something. Sarva jatishu, in all the jatis, jati here means species. Cow, cow jati, go jati, go means cow. Goat jati, and then what else, snake jati, and big cat jati, cheetahs, lions, tigers, small cat jati, house cat jati, all these are jatis. So sarva jatishu, in all the jatis, jayamananam, of things that are being born, janaka akriti niyama darshanat. So there is a niyama, there is a rule that the child of the frog will look like a frog, will be a frog. It cannot be a dog. It will continue to be a frog. And the child of a dog, will not become will not be a human being. The child of a dog will be a baby dog known as puppy. And so this is how sarva akritishu, in all forms we see this niyama, we see this rule of law. This is how the srishti is. This is how Ishvara Srishti is, that you don't see, dogs giving birth to frogs or vice versa. So then Janaka Akriti Darshana, Niyama Darshana. Janaka literally means father, but don't, we cannot, father here includes mother. We cannot discount that. I mean, this is a very patriarchal language and culture. And so that's how the Janaka Akriti. So Janani Akriti also. Janaka and Janani, mother and father both, father and mother both contribute. Without mother's contribution, there can be no child. And she has to incubate the child in her womb and make it grow up, so that cannot be discounted at all. And so this is so both their contributions are there. And Pujya Swamiji used to like to tell one story, tell one joke that he had heard among this, this person. One famous, very good-looking actress, I forget her name. She went to Bernard Shaw. Bernard Shaw and said, she went to Bernard Shaw and said, let's get married. She proposed marriage. And then he said, why? So that you see, and she said, just imagine the child that will be born will have my beauty and your brains. Imagine how wonderful that would be. So, what do you say? Do you say yes? And Bernard Shaw said, no. And the actress was disappointed. She said, I gave you a one compelling reason to marry me. Why are you saying no? And the actress replied, and the Bernard Shaw replied, what if it's the reverse? Because he was not good looking at all. What if the child has my looks? And what? Without saying that, your brains. And so it would be. So here, he used to tell the Pujya Swamiji used to tell this story to show that both the contribution of the mother and the father is very much there. So Janaka Akriti Niyama Darshanat. So now there is a question. This is not exactly a Purva Paksha. It's a it's a what is that? It's a kind of a question, an internal question that Bhashyakara raises. Coming from this very sentence, what is the sentence? Sarva jatishu, in all the jatis, the baby scorpion, the baby scorp looks like the mama scorp and the daddy scorp. And the baby puppy looks like the mama dog and the daddy dog. So then everywhere we find this. But yet, the Shruti says, Annat Purusha. Go straight to Purusha. It does not follow. Look, that's why this is not scientific. It does not go from single amoeba. Annat, amoeba. No, it doesn't say that. No amoeba. No single cellular, monocellular, and beings, entities. And then from that multicellular beings, no such thing. No such thing at all. It is Annat Purusha, straight away human being. And so one can raise the question, one can have a doubt. What is that doubt? Why should the human being have a special place? Why? What is the big deal? Why not? See, they are all, everything has come from Brahman. When the five elements are from Brahman, they are all Brahmatma. Then what is that? Then the trees, grasses, they are all Jivas. They are also from Brahman. Oshadhibhya, Prithivya, Oshadhaya. So the Oshadhis have come. And then what else has come? The Oshadhi has come, and then the Oshadhi means plants have come, trees have come. They are all living beings. And then Oshadhibhya, from these plants, which are the living beings, they constitute food. And then from that food, what has come? Human being has come. Straight away we go to human being. What kind of a partiality is this? Why not discuss the stories of the all the things in between? Why? What kind of a partiality is this, that we are only looking at the human being? Bhashyakara asks an internal question, and then answers it also. What is this kind of a partiality? And then, and this is what is the thing. Let us read the Bhashya. So let us read. Where are we now? Point number 36. Sarveshamapi
सर्वेषामपि
annarasa
अन्नरस
karatve
विकारत्वे
brahmavamshyatve cha
ब्रह्मवंशत्वे च
avishishte
अविशिष्टे
kasmat
कस्मात्
पुरुषः एव गृह्यते
पुरुषः एव गृह्यते
प्राधान्यात्.
प्राधान्यात्.
So this is a very good, good and wonderful interchange. Sarveshamapi annarasa vikaratve. So sarveshamapi meaning pashwadinam, including animals, etc. Sarvesham, for all of them, annarasa vikaratve sati, meaning that they are all born of this annarasa. They are all born of annam. Correct? So the snake eats the food and lays the egg, and then out of that a baby snake comes. That too is born of annam. And the human being is born of annam. Scorpion is born of annam. And then big cat's born of annam. Everything is born of annam. So that is what this Anna Vikaratvam is not uncommon, or it's not a peculiar feature just for the human being. For all the beings are born of that. And so therefore he says, Sarvesham api annarasa vikaratve avishishte. Vishesha means special. Avishesha means not special. It's very unremarkable. It's a rule of law that that food is somehow responsible for your birth, and it is your birth, my birth, everybody's birth, and everybody's this thing, and the birth of the dog, the cat, and all life forms, pashwadi dina, all the animal life, etc. So avishishte means there is nothing there is nothing remarkable. It's totally unremarkable. This is a non discussion. It's a non incident. All the bodies are born. Sarvesham Pashunam Jantunam. Born of what? Annam. Simple. They're born of food. So then they are all the bodies, any body that you see, not anybody, any body that you see is what is born of annam, anna rasa vikara. So this anna rasa vikara vishesha is not there for the human being. Everyone is born of Annam only. There is nothing peculiar, nothing specific, and therefore, why do you single out this Purusha? Even the mosquito's body is born of Annam. Whatever, some algae, sap, the mother mosquito ate. And then, of course, the mother mosquito feasted on your body because the mosquito, when it is pregnant, wants to have a blood meal. So you also did a little blood donation for that baby mosquito to be born, the eggs to be born, and the babies came out of the eggs. And so there is no Vishesha at all. It is Avishishta. Avishishta means nothing, nothing peculiar. It's all general. And so therefore the only the human being's body you're talking about. The question is why? Why not? And then one more thing he points out. So sarvesham api annarasa vikaratve, and then so that is the first thing that is not that is common to everybody, that every body is born of food, and everybody has brahmavamshyatvam. So Brahma Vamshyatve Sati. How did he put it? Vamshyam or something like that. Let me just look again. Where is that? Avishishte, yeah. So Pradhanyam, Brahma Vamshyatvam, yeah. So Brahma Vamshyatvam means one's lineage, the lineage of this body and other bodies, all the bodies, is what Vamsha means lineage, is Brahman. Brahman is the true lineage of all bodies. Number one, that is also common to all. And then number two, all the bodies are born, more directly of food. They all have come from Brahman, so they have the Brahman lineage stamp on them. And all the bodies, regardless of whether it is a human body or some other body, they are born of what? Food alone. Food alone is responsible for this body. And so, therefore, why do you single out the human being? And then, so even mosquito is Brahma Vamsha. It is also coming from Brahman. And then it also has Annarasa Vikaratvam. It is also a product of the food that the mummy mosquito ate and the daddy mosquito ate. So then, what is this thing? What is this thing? And then, so since this is there, the human being alone is singled out. Why? Because why is purushaha eva grihyate katham? How come the the singling out of the human being is done? Grihyate means is caught hold of here, is mentioned here. Why? And then that is the question. And so manushya sharira alone, manushasya dehaha eva grihyate purusha shabdena. So why? And the answer says pradhanyat. Pradhana means mukhya. Mukhya means important. Oh, the human being is important? Oh, I feel good now. Yeah, human body is important. Yes, it is very important. Even though on this earth there are billions of living shariras, living beings, living bodies, and all of them are born of Brahman, sustained by Brahman, and then go back to Brahman, these bodies, and then even while they are alive, Brahman is non separate from them, definitely. Still, the Purusha, the person who is reading this Upanishad, who is studying this Upanishad, has got a specialty. Pradhanya is there. Mukhyatvam is there. They have a certain Mukhyatvam. And what is this Mukhyatvam? Mukhyatvam means importance. There is a salience. There is a salience. And what is this salience? Let us look at that salience. Why Bhashyakara singles out and explains how the Upanishad goes straight to the human being. And he explains that. Let us see why. So, Purushaha eva hi.
Purushaha. There's
No,
one
no,
more. Kim
no,
punah.
one sentence is left out. Kim punaha
Kim punaha
pradhanyam
pradhanyam
कर्मज्ञान अधिकारः.
karma jnana adhikaraha.
Yeah, no need to read any further because this itself is a big discussion. So, kim punaha pradhanyam? Why is the human beings, tell me, give me a convincing explanation. Can say somebody who is studying this Upanishad, why the human being is singled out. What is this? Why the human being is important? You said the human being pradhanyat because of the importance of the human being. Why on earth is the human being important? Well, the human being is important for two reasons. Karma jnana adhikarat. Karmani adhikarah asti and jnane adhikarah api asti, for whom? Manushya, Manushyanam, for the human beings. So, uh, so therefore, the human being alone has got adhikara, means qualification, ability, eligibility for two things. One is karma. What is karma? Action. And the other is jnana. What is jnana? Knowledge. Action and knowledge. These are the two things the two reasons why the human being becomes eligible to be considered important enough by the Upanishad to bypass all the other life forms and just zero in after plants, which are the food, and straight to the human being, bypassing all other single celled animals and entities, etc. Karmani adhikara. Karmani adhikara means the first portion of the Veda is signified here. Very, very important to remember this. Karma is the discussion in the first portion of the Veda. Immediately we have to think of the first portion of the Veda, which keeps you busy and which keeps you keeping on doing yajna all the time, which keeps you busy. Why? Because vidhi nishedha paratvat. Veda Vakyasya, the first portion of the Veda, Karma Kanda, it's called Karma Kanda. Action portion, it's called. Its name only is Karma Kanda. So this karma kanda keeps you in, treading water in place. So because you have free will, and along with free will, and he's going to explain this later, this portion of the bhashya I'm just so happy with, very clear, and so very easy also to understand. So this is the so he says that you have desires. The human being has desires. Oh, but the cow also has desires. Donkey also has desires. Yeah, the donkey may have a desire to give you a nice kick, but that's about it, for which it's not even responsible. It just has the urge to kick, and you were standing behind it, and then it gave you a nice fat kick. No problem. The donkey has, some desires. The horse has a desire, I'll graze in that pasture because it looks greener. The cow also has a desire, I think I'm going to lie down in the shade. Those are all basic desires. They are not complicated desires. Even though we have in the Anekatti ashram, we have a goshala, a cow shed, which is open air. And the cows are there, calves are there, very nice. You can, if you go there in the right time, you can see the calves being born, very beautiful. And then sometimes when the calves are a little older, they're all very tame. Everybody pets them and gives them bananas and gives them leaves and everything. So they're entirely harmless. So they are left to, what is that? They are in America. They have a they have a name for it. What is that called? Free range. Yeah, free range cows. So they used to like to come, and these adolescent calves used to come and graze near the lecture hall. They used to all come and graze near the lecture hall when Pujya Swamiji used to be teaching. And then not one of them came inside, even out of curiosity. Why? Because they wanted grass. It was right there outside. They wanted grass, so it was right there outside. And then they would go on the side where there were some plants there. And then where there was a vegetable garden that was being planted. And then the gardener would shoo them. And then they would have some cow traps so that they would not cross over that little cow barriers. And so they would not be able to go there. But then they would just have a little area where they could graze. Not a single day, not a single one of them came inside to find out what is this Tattvamasi? What is V for Vedanta? And there was one calf that was named Vedanta actually, and Vedanta did not think, what is this in my name that is going on in this lecture hall? Let me go and find out. No curiosity at all Vedanta had. Vedanta was happy grazing, and then just begging for bananas whoever came. In the he knew the temple puja timings, and then whenever people came out of the temple, he knew some very likely that some people would have banana in hand, so he would go and beg there. And then so like this is not so jnane adhikara hai, for this knowledge. Who is got the adhikara? The human being alone. Karmani adhikara. In karma also, who has got adhikara? Who is eligible to do karma? You, the cow cannot be told. Come on, sit and do yajna with your whole family. It will not understand. And thankfully, it does not need to do prayers. Does not need to invoke Bhagavan. It does not need to, because it doesn't have a whole gamut of unfulfilled and unfulfillable desires. It doesn't have that. And so therefore therefore it is happy being what it is, really. Why should it do anything? And you can't even it is programmed. Bhagavan is the owner of all the pashus. Did you know that? Yeah, Bhagavan is the owner. That's why the pashus are called muktaha. They are already free. They don't have intractable desires. They don't have disappointment because the desires are not fulfilled. They don't have any such thing. They're free. They're totally free to be who be whatever they are. and they cannot be manipulated into doing this or doing some circus. And that's why when you go to see some circuses and there are all these big cats standing on these tiny stools and jumping through hoops, literally, it makes you very sad. And that's why sometimes, one says, you never know how these wild animals will behave. Sometimes they have attacked the trainers and attacked the circus people also, the circus goers. It's dangerous. They're not meant for that. They're not meant to sit on stools and beg and, ride a motorcycle and all these things. They're supposed to be in the wild and enjoy their lives. And so, therefore, karmani adhikaraha. And so, why does the human being alone become a slave to action? Because of the gamut of desires. Desires alone lead to action. Whereas the cow does act. It reproduces, it takes care of its young, and the animals also take care of their young. They eat, they drink, and the birds build the nests. But that is all part of the cycle of nature. They are more or less programmed. In the human being alone, it's as though Mother Goddess Maya put all the consciousness is uninhibited. Whereas in the cow and in the other animals, the consciousness is there. The cow, when the cow sees another cow, it's not going to mistake it for something else. That recognition of the species is there, and recognition of something, a different species is there. Recognition of the same species is important for furthering the line for reproduction. Recognition of other species is important because you need to recognize predators, otherwise you may be eaten up. So that much is there. But then beyond that, the wants are not outside of the scope of what nature fulfills. It needs to eat, it goes and eats. It's raining, so it goes and stands in some covered place in a shed. That's all it does. And then the sun comes out, it comes out again. And then it has a baby, and it takes care of the baby. It's just a very simple life. It's part of the manifestation of Ishvara, whereas the human being has got free will, which means there will be desires, which means they will be pushed to fulfill the desires. There will be pressures exerted by the desires in order to fulfill them, which means that whatever result of action comes, the human being is going to fight with those results and usher in actions again and again in order to fulfill those desires. Very complex lot. Yes, very, very complex. So the human being alone, what does the Bhashya say here? Yeah, Purusha Akriti, yeah, so Sarvesham api karma jnana adhikara. Karma jnana adhikara. That is why the human being alone has karma and jnana adhikar. So you can teach a cow tattvamasi, but then it will just move and go away. Yeah. Somebody told me moo is om backwards. Yeah, but it is backwards. Okay. So, so somebody said that. And so when they say moo, it's om backwards. But unfortunately, it's backwards. What are you going to do? So then you can tell the goat, Tattvamasi. And then, so that, but it is not going to understand. It does not need to understand because it does not have sorrow centered on the self. Yeah, doesn't have sorrow centered on self. They seem to be much happier than all the human beings on earth put together. They don't have disappointment, they don't have atripti, discontent, they don't have fear. They may have fear, but then it's not like a chronic fear. They are fear if some predators come. That's all. It's in the moment. They run, they hide, they fight back, and then it's all over. Then they're peacefully grazing again. And this is, it's actually very interesting to see that there is in Africa, in southern Africa, they will all these animals will go, and then the vegetarian animals will go, They have to migrate from place to place because they follow the seasons and they follow the grasses, and then they have to go because they have to eat. So behind them, the big cats also go, hiding in the brush. Why? Because their lunch is walking, their lunch is on the move. So they're also on the move. And the zebras, which are grazing peacefully, one ear is out. They know. They know very nicely. One ear is out. Aha. Okay, there they come, and then they'll be eating. And then as soon as they feel it's unsafe, they all disperse like that. They're a little bit disturbed. They all disperse like that. It's amazing to see. All these National Geographic videos. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the deer, it is said that they are colorblind. They can't see much. They just see just a mass of things, and the color of the tiger hiding in the grasses, they cannot see the tiger. The tiger also looks like grass. And how are they going to protect themselves? How are they going to run? They can hear, but some of the tigers are very, 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 very sneaky. They have padded paws, and they just go like this. They just go like this, and the hind legs are ready to jump. And then they suddenly get help from a very unexpected quarter. The howler monkeys sitting in the trees, who have no who have no color blindness, and they are seeing this. They are seeing this fellow. They are seeing the tiger crouching, ready to pounce on this innocent and what is that? Completely oblivious deer. And then they start howling. The howler monkeys make a huge cacophony. They make a huge noise. And because of their noise, it's almost like the deer had told them, keep a watch, okay? You're sitting in the tree, you can see better. I'm colorblind, keep a watch. It's almost that there is a pact. Then they howl and they make so much noise that the deer runs away. And the big cat looks very sadly at all the monkeys, gives them a dirty look, and then goes back to where it came from. So it's like that. It's just nature in its raw state. But that's not how it is for the human being. The human beings, they want. As soon as they're born, they want milk, they want this, they want that, they want to be cuddled, they want to be hugged. They don't want to be the middle child, they want to be either the eldest or the youngest. And then they want this, they want that, they want this. All the time they want. I want. That's the refrain. I want. And so therefore, in order to make the wants a little more comely, in order to make them more manageable, the first portion of the Veda inserts itself into one's life and says, all these wants are too many in number. Why don't you just pray for what you want? Because if you try going and fulfilling each and every one of them, you are going to drive yourself crazy because they are unfulfillable, many of them. And then they are not getting fulfilled. You know why? Because there are so many impediments in your way. What are the impediments? Your own karma is standing in the way. How will you fulfill them? They will not be fulfilled. And so therefore, what do you need to do? Do this yajna. Pray, and then you will get your way. You have to read the fine print, which says maybe not. But still, pray in order to get your way. That is what is the message of the first portion of the Veda. Yeah, it puts you on a diet of mantras and yajna, prayers and yajna, actions, pujas. All these things you keep doing. And then after that, what happens? Then you get a few things, but then that karma becomes karma yoga. Why? Because you understand. Karma makes you grown up. It grows you up, especially if it is done in the form of prayer. It grows you up. And then you get to the place of saying, I don't think I need all these things. It's all useless. It's all helpless. It's all hopeless. Why do I want all these things? Why am I wanting all these things? I should let go of these things. And so the karma grows you up. And so that is its hidden reason why the first portion of the Veda does this. So the karma includes upasana, also meditation. So karma, all the things that you do, vihita karma means prescription karma. Do this, don't do this. Do that, don't do that. You don't need to tell the cow. Kalanjam na bhakshayet means it's a Vedic statement which says do not eat meat. You don't tell that to a cow. Even if you offer the cow a hamburger, it will just sniff at it and leave it for you. It will not eat it at all. It will not. If it is really starved, maybe it will eat the bun, but it will not go for the meat. And in the West, they tried to feed meat to the cows, and you know what happened? Mad cow disease. That is crazy. No? To practice cannibalism for the cows, and that's what happened. Mad cow disease became a very big thing. And so this is so when they go outside of that programming, it is very perilous, very, very dangerous. And so then, so the cow doesn't need do's and don'ts. Do not steal. You don't have to tell the cow, don't steal, don't do this, don't do that. It's of no use. And because they're not stealing, they're just taking what they need. Even if there is a heap of bones, the dog will only take one bone and bury it. It will not take the whole heap and say, this is for my puppy, this is for my puppy for the seventh generations. No. Only the human being does that, not the dog. They will take one bone and bury. One bone is what they need. They will take only that which is needed. Even the carnivorous animals, when they feast on a carcass, when they are stop being hungry, they just walk off and go away, leaving it to other animals down the chain. When the lions are eating, the big cat is eating, lion is eating. That's why it's called the lion's share. It eats first, it eats everything. And then after that, what happens? Then they leave it for the other smaller things like the meerkats, the hyenas. All of them are waiting at a respectful distance, and then they all come and eat. Nobody hoards like the human being. And so, therefore, they don't need these do's and don'ts in society, how to live, what to do, etc. And so, the human being has adhikara for karma, what kind of karma to do, what kind of karma not to do, etc. Human being has the adhikara, the eligibility for self growth. And then finally, the human being also has the eligibility for self knowledge, because the culmination of this karma as prayer, karma as yoga, results in nothing but self knowledge, results in you going into entering the classroom. That is what it results in, and that is what it is. And then that journey is very beautifully encapsulated in the first and the second portion of the Veda. And that is so the Upanishad is, that's why the Upanishad is meant for the human being. If you give the dog the Taittiriya Upanishad, it will assimilate it in a different way. It will eat up the pages. That's all it will do. It cannot do anything else at all. So therefore, the for the Manushya only adhikara is there for karma and for jnanam. That is how it is. More we'll see tomorrow. Okay. No Sanskrit class today either. All right. So tomorrow there will be Sanskrit class. You can log in. This class will also meet tomorrow, same time. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Any questions are there? You can ask. No? Okay. See you all tomorrow. Good morning.